Hello, everyone, and welcome here to the Divergent Gaming Open. My name is Solid Jake, and I am honored to be sitting digitally next to the one, the only Dreadnought.
How's it going, Jake? Long time no see.
Dude, it has been a long time, and there's gleaming fireworks going off in my background.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how she comes into play today. That's actually something that I'm way looking forward to is the new patch and how the teams today play around it because there were such big changes from the last, I guess, major tournament except for Into the Storm earlier today. So everybody's kind of new and fresh on it, and it's gonna be crazy.
So she is allowed to be played? Is that...
I don't know the
Okay.
official rulings. I asked for the link on whether or not to the bracket. I don't know if she's going to be available, but I don't know if it really matters. It's going to be interesting, definitely interesting to see if she's in, right? Get the resets,
Yeah.
But other than that, I think the most interesting thing is just the big patch changes, kind of like other than the hero, like Rhaegar, for instance.
Rhaegar?
Like where does Rhaegar fall in the situation?
Man.
The bloodlust stream,
Oh, please. Don't get me too excited.
So I'm actually really looking forward to see how these teams do against such different patch, especially without having. I mean this in the nicest way possible, without having kind of like framework built by pro teams very early for them to kind of copy. Because I do think a lot of the teams at this level of play are not the innovators, if you will, but definitely the ones that are going to be following up on. Well, I saw this team do this. They understand why they did it, and then they try and play it appropriately. So without kind of having that like framework built for them to kind of mold themselves into like, well, we like this version of a comp. It's gonna make this tournament probably one of the most interesting we've seen. At least for me from casting this, I'm really hyped for this one.
So I actually just got the official ruling. I checked out the website. I found that link. Greymane is banned. This is due to a bug with perfect aim where sometimes it does double damage. But Li Ming is allowed, which means, I mean, she can one-shot like Kael'thas. She can one-shot tons of assassins late game once she has Mirror Ball. So she's a huge threat at every point in the game. And, Rhaegar, Li Ming, Kael'thas, Tyrande, who's going to see the bans, who's going to get to those first pick slots. It's going to be really fun to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be awesome. The Li Ming is where I'm most interested to see how she comes into play, largely because she is such a dominant hero when it does come to like team fighting. If she gets her combo off, especially with kind of a large spread damage, like for instance, Vala, for instance, with Strafe. If she can get them low and then you confirm the kill, you get the reset. How many more can you get? Large burst flank-oriented heroes working with her. I want to see how well teams work with that. But more importantly, what I'm interested in is her kill potential is so big in team fights, but where she struggles is her wave clear. Her wave clear is actually one of the worst when it comes to being a dominant eight. Like, think about, like, you have the Jaina, you have the Kael'thas, and you're like, well, our laning phase is absurdly good, but she actually struggles very hard. Like, if she can't get in perfect positioning from the side of a wave, she can't wave clear very quickly. So that makes her viability from the first pick slot. You're like, if you first pick her, you are definitely saying, I'm getting my wave clear somewhere other than my ranged assassins. Because now you're only going to have one that provides it. So it makes the draft play with her right now, like, in my opinion, one of the coolest things that we're going to, like, that's why this tournament's going to be so awesome. It's like, who knows how to draft with her? Who knows, like, rather than her just being like, oh, she's OP, we're going to pick her. Like, who actually knows how to work with her?
Do you think it's at all worth speccing into a bit more of a more orb style just to have, like, yes, it's powerful late game, but it gives you that lane clear, but really you want the lane clear in early game, so it doesn't really fix the problem.
Yeah.
Would it ever balance out?
I don't think she has any talents that really make it to where wave clear is better. If anything, S of Johan, which is like already the go-to kind of right now.
It's gonna get nerfed. They're already talking about it.
Okay, beyond the fact that it's gonna get nerfed, it is in the game. It is gonna be used tonight, and more importantly, is that's probably one of the best wave clear tools she has. Awkwardly enough, is like it pulls all the minions together to make her small AOE past that more effective anyway. So kind of like, there is no better talents to take that isn't in her mainstream build to make her wave clear even better. And so on maps where wave clear is really crucial, I really want to see how well teams can draft around the idea of picking her, because you're sacrificing strong solo laners like Thrall and Zagara, who are considered kind of like the go-to before this, usually in your draft if you prioritize her, depending on how the big fans go as well. But then also you are sacrificing your wave clear. So you're losing essentially the core of those just to have a stronger team fight. And I don't think she's weak in those senses, but I definitely don't think she's like dominant. And so that's where I said the drafts of tonight are just going to be awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah, so Dread, I need to ask you for a personal favor. In the other Skype chat, anything that is said there, I need you to relay it to me because I cannot look at that without obliterating your beautiful face for the stream. I don't want to do that. That sounds tragic.
No, yeah.
I'm going to adjust my sound levels in the game just a little bit.
I did end up finding the bracket, though. I believe it is to be finalized at this point. What we will be looking to take is we're going to be watching THC, which is a team that's competed here. I've watched them at least 3 of the 4 tournaments I've casted at GG. They're actually a team that has always pulled it to roughly the semifinals usually, and then they end up falling to one of the expected, if you will, teams. They have really good rotations. Honestly, it's one of the best things about their team is they have really, really, really good rotations as a group, and they make kind of aggressive calls even when from behind, and I really like it. Brings some really interesting games, and it looks like they're going to be going against Royal Facade is going to be the first team that they end up going against. Other than that, we don't have really any new information to relay from that chat, but I will keep track of that as best I can for you.
Very cool. Well, when we have the first game ready, we will get the draft on and rolling for you guys. Of course, the bracket actually was just created at 9 p.m. They let signups go until 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and then as soon as that deadline is hit, they open up the bracket and the bracket is made. You can find out more info just about Divergent Gaming in general at divergentgaming.com. And they also have a Twitter at DG_open. My mic is super quiet. Oh my goodness. You know, it's different every time I cast.
I know that feel. Suddenly moving into the world of like production and everybody and like being more focused on my production, I feel like every single time my settings somehow like get tweaked in the opposite direction of the normal problem, and it's just like I'll never know. I'll honestly never know. I can empathize with that. I apologize, but
well, now we got that 2-minute delay of trying to get our mics even, so I'll wait 2 minutes. We'll see where it stands at that point. But that's the hard part about doing shows where we have Skype as a medium, because it's really really difficult to check for the balance with those 2 mics. And but thank you for letting us know, and hopefully we can resolve that before we start our first game. So other than Li Ming really rising up, we saw a lot of other changes in this patch. Obviously, Nova's a very different hero. Rhaegar is a very different, way better hero. Yeah. But what else do you think we'll see? Like, Greymaine's starting to see a bit of play. We're starting to see a bit of Lunara. Even Cho'Gall is significantly better in this patch.
Yeah, I think the go-to changes. Okay, so heroes that we don't see in the past, that I haven't seen in the past, I guess, that we're going to see a lot of today. I think at least some showing. Lunara, I think, is a must. I think at some point she'll be shown. I think Greymane would be another one as well. But with obviously because of his brokenness and he's going to be banned out for this tournament, we won't see much of him. Other ones that we'll see a little bit of the rise of, I definitely feel like you're going to see obviously the Rhaegar is now certainly strong. I think you'll see much less Sonya, a little bit less Raynor as well. Both of them with the focused attack and the direct nerfs to their kits make both of them a much weaker hero than they once were. I think you're going to see this, what has been recently prominent, but I think you're going to continue to see the Stitches, and I think you're going to see a lot more Tassadar because of the Stitches. Those two, the synergies they provide on so many different levels is absurdly good together. And I think the sleeper of this tournament that's always shown because of his strength, but I feel like specifically now, he's stronger probably now than ever, is going to be the Zeratul. I guess not than ever. He had a period where he was absurdly broken.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be kind of that go-to that we might see. It seems like the amateur teams pull away from him. I think that might be because just the complexity of how to play with the hero.
He's got a high skill ceiling for sure.
Yeah, he does. And not only that, it's like a composition thing too, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's absurdly hard to play on his own, but then he's hard to play with as well. So, like, I think that's why you see them pull away, but I definitely would like to see some teams shifting to him. The buff to his Q, really absolutely great in a situation where he was already debatably one of the more influential heroes at the top level of play of Heroes of the Storm last patch, and only heroes that he was strong against kind of got stronger. Lunara, Li Ming, any squishy low health pool. So I really do feel like you're going to see him kind of making a spike in skill, or at least over for this tournament.
You think he's going to rise above Sonya because Sonya saw some nerfs and Zeratul saw some buffs, so he's going to become kind of a more prominent melee damage dealer?
I think so. I think so. I don't know if this tournament specifically will see it, but I definitely think when it comes down to the patch overall, Sonya saw a big enough nerf to her to where she is gonna no longer just be this kind of, all right, pick Sonya. She's generically good. The only thing she really provides that Zeratul didn't was, well, obviously she can eat tanks even alive, which is a really good thing. She's going to be way worse at that now, though. So the only thing she really does is she's got a better laning phase to set in the solo lane, which is going to reduce her viability for sure when it comes to 1-4 splits like Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen. But at the same time, there's other heroes that can take that spot, and you can draft Zeratul in the 4-man rotations and make him equally good. So I think you will see less of the Sonya and more of the Zeratul for sure. I just got the contact though, the team or the player who's going to be on the team that we're going to be following here with THC. So
nice.
Yeah.
So I want to rewind to another thing you said earlier, because people might not be aware of this, but you mentioned the synergy of Tassadar in Stitches. And are you primarily referring to the fact that Oracle gives vision for hooks over walls, and then once you have that target, you can just force wall them in? Or
yeah, that's part of it. So yeah, that's half of the problem, right? So Stitches does really well with having vision over his opponents to get the hooks. Then post 10, you have a force wall that's going to help you ensure that those people who get hooked died. And then even worse than that, Stitches is very good in situations where the objective is not easily and quickly going to be taken. So it's kind of like what I call the fish in the barrel. Whenever they're sitting around a map objective for long periods of time to where he has the ability to actually get the hook off is when Stitches grows in strength. So on, for instance, Cursed Hollow, Tassadar is one of the few heroes that can spec into being not only a great delay, but then also great vision. At level 1, increased range on W. Going to be awesome to delay stuff. Mental Acuity to increase the sight of potential for the Stitches. At level 10, he'll have the opportunity to lock in the Force Wall. And then by levels 13 and 16, now he has a double E to where he can actually overextend to delay just so the Stitches can still sit still and wait for the hook at the perfect time. He literally is perfect Stitches character. He makes everything that Stitches wants to happen. But the problem with that is it makes the comp so Stitches dependent usually that it's very, you better have a good hook player, like one that can actually land it, or you're going to have a bad time.
Very cool, very interesting. Well, we'll see if the teams decide to go for that. The bracket is now live. I'm going to post that in the chat for everyone and update the Moobot command, since we do have a living bracket. Very exciting.
I'm going to send you the link on Heroes, or do you want it through Skype?
Either is fine.
All right, I'll go through Heroes here.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, no, that is why those two are just an absolute tear together, specifically on bigger maps where the map Cursed Hollow is one of them, kind of in Garden as well, but any of the one of the larger maps where the map objective isn't so hastily taken, kind of like or where rotations and bodies don't matter as much, like on Dragonshire, for instance. That's a map where that strategy doesn't work nearly as well. You can't really sit and poke the channeled structure. That would be a better way to put it. Any channeled map objective is the best way to put it there. So they're asking if we're ready. Do you have the link ready to go?
I am ready to roll.
All right, I'll let them know.
Royal Facade versus THC Black. It looks like they're now going to pick the map.
Yeah. Some of the teams actually use this. For the map bans as well. It's not something that you see too often out of the two, out of the teams, is that they don't usually use the map bans here, but sometimes they do it this tournament. It's a little bit different than some of the ones that I'm used to, and probably yourself as well. Yeah,
I don't know that I've actually been in an event that utilized this feature on Heroes Draft, but hey, something new.
Yeah. And you see, Royal Facade goes for the Towers of Doom. That's sad. That's actually one of my favorite maps to cast, honestly, now as it's slowly coming out. The battles, man, the team fighting. The prioritization of experience on that map just is something that I kind of live for, really. It's such a unique strategy map, kind of like Cursed Hollow, where there's it's a little more linear when it gets later into the game, but early on, I feel like decision making on rotations, just like for tributes, for instance, is like such a unique and valuable thing. Just love the map overall. As I said, haven't seen what's their name, Royal Facade come out at all and play at all against THC. THC, as I said, is a team with really good rotation, so I'd like to see them try and take a map with awesome rotations, or where rotations will give them an advantage.
We'll see what we end up on. Dragonshire, Shrines, Battlefield of Eternity, and Tomb are all still available. Some pretty big maps left here in the pool, and as I say that, Tomb, the one small map remaining, is eliminated.
Yeah, all right, so we have Dragonshire here, still an option. I've only seen THC play on Cursed and I believe Sky Temple. So we're finally going to get him on something else. A lot of them teams here avoid a Battlefield of Eternity, but Inferno Shrine's going to be banned out here. It's going to be good. I hope they go with Battlefield. I feel like it's a map that I would like to see more amateur teams and even professional teams go to. But it is going to be Dragonshire. Royal Facade going to have the first pick, first ban here. What do we think? How are we going to play around the Li Ming here, Jake?
Do you just outright ban her? I don't think you do. If you're the first pick, first ban, you ban that other mage. Just get Kael'thas out of there. Force them to either ban Li Ming or Tyrande, one of those big priority targets, and then you pick up whatever's left. Oh, they're going for the Rhaegar.
The Rhaegar, dude. The Doge, he's here. He's real. So that is essentially a call out on the Li Ming ban here that might come out. They are going to open with Li Ming ban. So interesting. Already the team's possibly, there it is. I'm guessing that's going to be a Kael'thas instant pickup or a Zagara. I personally prefer Zagara on this map because she's such a great top laner. But I can see them going for the Kael'thas. He's decent in the rotations and really great team fighting. So I don't really see them going with too many others. Granted, I've never seen this team before, so maybe they have a pocket strider of their own plan coming into it. Hovering the Zag, going to be locked in there. Bam. What do you get as a response here? Kael'thas, Jaina?
You said they're good at rotations. So, I mean, Kael'thas, Muradin Kael'thas, Tyrande Kael'thas, anything that has another stun works well. But the KT Tyrande just seems so good. I mean, Thrall.
I like it. Yeah. No, I think Thrall is a good response just because of Zagara pickup.
Lane.
Having somebody who can actually deal with her in the top lane is absolutely crucial. Now concentrating the rest of their draft on being like, all right, our top lane's a little bit even. So now who can win the 4-man? That's going to dictate the pace of a lot of this. I personally would like a good damage dealer with good wave clear, either Jaina or Kael'thas. I prefer Jaina because I like early game a little bit more. But I know a lot of teams like to go to that Kael'thas just because that power spike is colossal on him.
Yeah, Chain Bomb is pretty scary, man. While they're thinking about it, I mean, obviously Tyrande has some other benefits. Tyrande gives your team some vision. She is a very strong support, especially with Rhaegar being banned out. She's a great solo support. They're giving that hover to KT, though. They've got the root from the Wolf. They've got the gravity lapse for that lockdown, and they lock them in. Two big assassins for THC Black.
Yeah, and now Royal Facade looking for the response. I do believe that you're going to see, it looks a Falstead. Love that for the map. That's something a lot of the amateur teams kind of cling to, it seems like, which is great because it's such a powerful strategy. It's good in the 4-man rotations, and then post-level 20 with Epic Mount, you have the ability to ensure the fact that your team will get a DK if you even get the smallest advantage. So Falstead going to be hovered there. I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to look for a tank. I personally still like concentration of the wave clear. I feel like on this patch, it is no longer about the tanks. I feel like there is none that kind of outweigh the others enough to the point where we should focus them. But Muradin going to be locked in. Good stun, weak wave clear, but good stun for them. Do you think Uther's going to be a topic here, a hot topic?
He's got to be. I mean, Tyrande's still on the table, and she's a great option. But I mean, with all these consistent Uther bans or Rhaegar bans, Uther's still super powerful, and especially with like a lot of the blow up that exists in the game, he's still a top tier support for sure.
No, I agree with you. I actually think because the Rhaegar bans are going to be more dominant tonight, I think Uther is going to be a hot topic. And the reason for that is like the synergy with melee assassins like Thrall, right?
Yeah.
Is typically you want only 2 healers, but if one's so broken he's banned from every game, I think you can expect that Uther now suddenly gains prioritization from like to like first pick, or not first pick, at least first rotation, second rotation level of pickup here, or a ban maybe from Royal Facade. I think that the shift in the meta, at least for this draft with the Rhaegar, is really going to bring prioritization to him. And I wouldn't be, like I said, surprised that if it showed up in the rest of the tournament tonight. So specifically
in NA, I definitely think Uther is going to be really highly contested, but we do see a lot more Divine Palm in Europe. So Karazim is definitely a very strong option out there. It's just we don't see it as frequently in North America. It's just it has a different kind of interaction, right? Divine Shield can be used for those ham moments on melee, like you said, right? Sonya, you give that to her, and she cannot be stopped. She's going in, and you're not stopping her. Karazim's more of a defensive, save the hero, get them out kind of ability. But Vala and Jaina, two big assassins being banned out here. The assassin options are pretty much locked in already, so I don't know what else we'll end up seeing, and this is when we're going to start to see those healers picked up. Tyrande being hovered by THC Black. They've already got a lot of lockdown for those rotations, and they're going to pick up Tyrande for that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they're worried about their tank here. If the ETC is something that they're that panicked over, or Diablo, one of those two, with Murden already being picked up by their opponents, the double tank option being possible with 2 picks left from Facade, I wouldn't be surprised if they locked it and hid their 3rd damage dealer. No damage dealer with the Jaina ban is going to really stand out enough to really justify it to me to need to hide it. So I can, or excuse me, need to pick it up. All the rest kind of fall into that mid tier for them. So yeah, there we go. So it looks like they are going to hover it. I wouldn't be surprised if they lock this in. I personally like the call because I don't feel like there's any damage dealer that helps them that much. What I'm more interested in is what damage dealer do they pick up? Do you go with Vala being banned out in this type of situation? They still need to be able to win the wave clear here, and Facade has the opportunity to respond with like possibly a Sylvanas or somebody with a little bit of wave clear here to try and make sure, okay, you have, for instance, Tassadar. Yeah, you have that really straightforward Tyrande ETC kind of lockdown on their team, and then if you take a Tassadar, it not only provides great wave clear, but also kind of a counter initiation to the THC with the shields. So I think this is going to be a big swinging point for both teams on how they lock in the rest of their draft, mainly for THC Black if Facade doesn't go with the strong wave clear.
Some really interesting points. Well, one thing we know for sure is Facade does need that support, but they're going to go for Diablo as well. Now, Diablo gives you a lot of appeal. He gives you that front line, but also Apocalypse is a big instrument in disrupting some of those heavy initiations with Sundering and the mosh pit setup that could be there. Diablo could be a key element to denying those big approaches. I really don't think we'll see Lightning Breath. We saw Tempo Storm use Lightning Breath this past weekend, and it made me cry so much. It just looked awful.
Yeah. It has moments where it has its uses for sure, but a majority of the time I do agree. I think APOC just universally is one of the strongest ults in the game, honestly, especially with the reduced cooldown on the on the cooldown. It was reduced like 2 patches ago, and it gained a lot of spike in power. So I've loved it ever since then. But they do go with that double tank. That's why THC Black locking in ETC is really smart pickup for them. They got the tank that they wanted, predicting that Royal Facade had the opportunity to actually go with the double tank, and they might be looking to do it. So denying, at least prioritizing the tank that they actually want for their comp. Really like that. I would like to see, interesting choice. Okay, we go with the medic. So wave clear on Facade definitely going to be lacking. They pretty much have 0 wave clear. When it comes to the 4-man, they have a decent top lane, but it's going to be met at a stalemate pretty much in the upper half of the map with Thrall. It's definitely a skill matchup there. So as long as the wave clear remains strong for THC Black, I feel like they not only have kill potential, but they have wave clear advantage as long as they lock in another really good wave clear here. And then they also go even on the top lane. So I would say right out the gates, depending on this last pick, I'd like a Sylph. Like I said, Tass wouldn't be the end of the world. I feel like they lack a little bit of burst if they go with Tassadar. That's why I would kind of avoid him. Oof.
Leo seems even worse than Tass, in my opinion, just because he's a nice frontline bruiser, but he doesn't really bring a lot of damage to the table, and they already have so much control. I don't know if they really need more control.
I agree with you that I think it was a sketchy pickup, but I don't think that it was terrible. I think both of them were kind of questionable. Like I said, I feel like Sylvanas would have been more valuable than all of them, providing good damage, providing good wave clear. I feel like that was what they needed. But at least with this situation, by locking in the Leoric, they have a really dominant 4-man, right?
True.
ETC, Tyrande, great kill potential. Leoric does a lot of damage, especially in the early game, and he has really great wave clear. Kel'Thas with the great wave clear. They have a lot of setups, and they have a dominant top laner. I feel like overall in the draft, THC takes this without a doubt. They have the wave clear and kill potential in the 4-man, and they win even in the top lane. So
and we're talking Dragonshire here. I mean, you're looking at Kel'Thas, Tyrande, Thrall, ETC, the rotation gods right there on the map that's all about getting rotations and getting the pick off. So
yeah, absolutely. So I like that.
Very cool. So someone in the chat just said, "Gray main, please." Gray main is actually banned due to a bug that is kind of affecting him right now. They're looking to get that fixed, as far as I understand it, but he will not be allowed to be played in this tournament.
Yeah, he won't. And sadly, he won't, because I actually feel like he would have been kind of a decent answer in this game.
Yeah.
One of the things I was interested as well when we look at the draft is the Morales pick. Morales doesn't provide much to the wave clear situation. She does do really well in the sense that the kind of sit back and relax style composition that they have with Zagara and Falstad is really going to pay off. Falstad with the disengage for the medic, allowing everybody to heal up and everything. And Zagara wanting to sit back and take the long team fights there. Thrall being a decent soft engage to kind of, or soft counter with his hard engage there. But more than anything, I feel like I would have liked Malfurion. I feel like he kind of, I guess I'm a Malfurion lover too, though. I'm like one of the few people that still thinks that he's like one of the best healers in the game, especially with his buff. I don't know. I'm crazy in the sense that like Moonburn, just the effectiveness that it provides in rotations is just almost unmatched compared to every other support. Along with the fact with this buff to his direct healings, it would work better with against this ETC and Tyrande. The cleanse changes as well, making him a little bit even like better than that. So I feel like I would have liked to see that, just because now if they took Malfurion, I feel like they stood a chance in the rotations, right? And Medic pretty much assured they do not win the 4-man, and that's why I was kind of like not so much a fan of it, but. We'll see how they play it out. I mean, like I've seen holes in THC's play in the past, and maybe Royal Facade's the team that was going to exploit it to the maximum. So maybe they have a strat I don't even know about, honestly. Falstad top, new meta, maybe.
I honestly can't think of who else is going to be top. It has to be Falstad, right?
No, it's going to be Zag. They're going to send Zag in the solo lane and then send Falstad. But there is kind of a weird, unique strategy that's ran where some people actually will send Zag into the bottom and send a decent top laner top. I feel like Falstad will get ruined by Thrall, so that's not going to be an option here. But that is actually, if you have a Zagara and then you draft another top laner that's really good, then what you can do in that type of situation is actually then use your 3-man to just go to whatever lane is getting like bullied a little bit, and then just kind of like baby 2 winning lanes, right? It's a really weird strat. Okay, it's kind of like a 2-1-2. You almost never see it, but when you do and it's executed perfectly, you just got to sit back and be like, that's why Heroes of the Storm is a good game. Like that, like, seriously. Because it's like when people are able to innovate like that and just like pull out just beautiful comps and strats, it's just so satisfying, especially on Dragonshire. Oh, man.
It's such a fun map. Yeah, it's such a good map in general. The design. All right, we've given the players the good luck, have fun, and just as we do that, someone disconnects. So we're going to get them reconnected. Our match will be on Dragonshire if you haven't tuned in. If you're just tuning in, and this is our draft for today, we have Zagara, Falstad, Muradin, Diablo, Medic versus Leoric, ETC, Tyrande, Kael'thas, and Thrall. Li Ming, will she see play once today, Dreadnought? What's your vote? Does she make it through
bans? If she does see play, if she sees play, it will only be in the semifinals or very finals. I think a lot of the teams here do not have confidence to let her through the draft because they read Reddit. I think, I'll be totally honest. I think none of the teams here, unless they're very experienced or have won a lot of the tournaments, are just confident in their play over their opponents. Very few will walk in and say, I'm going to let that be a possibility, unless they... I just don't think they will, honestly. I think it's only the teams that are very confident in their own strategies will be like, we can deal with this. So I think, yes, she will, but if she does, it will be at the very end of it if she sees any of it. I think Rhaegar is the topic we should talk about on whether or not he's going to see play, because I can tell you from playing him, I feel like, wow, this character is absurdly strong. I definitely know that he's right now, HOTS logs wise, statistically is dominating everything.
Like 63% win rate for his first day out.
Yeah.
Like,
it's insane.
How have you been playing him? What do you like most? Are you a fan of the lightning build, or the shield lightning?
I like a little bit of a hybrid. I recently got absolutely destroyed by the 16 tier, which I originally, when I read it, I hated the talent.
Oh, it's so broken.
But now, after I got bodied by a double suplex, double overpower Diablo, because all it would do is put it on the shield on Diablo, and between 2 overpowers, it would get like max procs. Diablo was literally soloing anybody, like just with 1 W. I never even thought about it, and it ruined me. And I was like,
so
maybe
cool.
I should rethink this strategy, because that might be really, really strong.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but other than that, I don't know if I think it's going to be the new OP. I definitely like a mixture between tidal waves and the refresh cooldown at 7 to get kind of that AoE healing, but the rest of the build I definitely like.
So I've just now realized as we enter the game, I'm not sure which team is which.
I can tell you that ETC and friends on the right-hand side are going to be THC Black. So, and then on the left-hand side, we do have Royal Facade. No, I lied. Other way around. Sorry. Left-hand side, we do have THC Black. Right side is Royal Facade.
Okay. All right. Good. Great. Grand. Let me fix that. Dreadnought. Here we go. The first round here, the round of 16 in the Divergent Gaming Open. And the teams are through the gates. Anything weird going on with the talents?
Not really right now. Actually, mine are completely busted. My UI is actually broken, but talent's looking pretty standard across the board. Devil's Due is taken by Diablo. Only thing that kind of stands out to me at all. Not even that it's uncommon. It's just more of a preference for most players. Empower taken by the Tyrande at level 1 with the changes to that. Not too crazy there. So both teams going head-to-head here, but it is a 4 vs 5 here for THC.
Yeah, Thrall's been left all alone. He's pretty much cleaned up a whole wave of minions, and Falsta does have to rotate up to make sure he gets that soak. And we will see just a couple minions lost in XP from both teams in the bottom lane as they both make their way down there. You predicted the Zagara top, but they're doing that craziness. They're putting that lone Falstad in the top lane.
Yeah. It's going to be a rough life for him. Watch as Thrall proceeds. If Thrall just stands there and throws out his Q on cooldown, he will slowly win this lane. This is actually, I believe, now that I'm looking at the roster, this is THC. I think this is the alternate team from the one I typically watch play. I do see Insiders. It's a name that I don't recognize, but I used to actually play competitively way back in the day. So I think this is kind of like their side team, hence the black. But they do go in the mid lane, getting a stun on Diablo. He will walk away and get the kill. Really well done.
Nice body blocks, yeah.
But they have just Falstad's going to lose this top lane slowly but surely. Like, look at how bad he's already picking on him.
Uh-oh, but Kael'thas waiting in the bushes. He gets the barrel roll out, and the gravity lapse is completely whiffed. Bottom shrine still under control here on the side of Royal Facade. But this is a 3v3 situation, so they do have to be careful. This is not an easy win for them to take this, but Muradin can bully quite a bit to try to control this point as long as possible.
Yeah, and honestly, the top lane going to be slowly won here by the Thrall over time with the range advantage that he has over his opponent with that Q. The wave clear going to be going in favor of THC Black here. It's really as long as they keep up the rotations between mid and top, or mid and bottom, mid and bottom, mid and bottom. They are going to be far ahead in this game. ETC already recognizing this, trying to get on Red Man Blue. Not going to be a follow-up there. He will end up surviving here. They're going to cap on bottom. And right here, it comes down to comp. THC, just with a superior 4-man, is essentially dictating the pace of this game on both of the shrines.
Okay, well, level 4 hit from both teams. Both the shrines being controlled on the blue side. Falstad attempting to regain control of the top lane, but Buds on Thrall will be able to easily bully him away. So both, once again, being controlled by blue for a short while. But as I say that, we do see we have red team, Royal Facade, regaining control of the bottom lane.
Yeah, and if THC decides to stay together and keep that 4-man on bottom, they actually would have won that there. They lose the shrine there, but you'll see Thrall is essentially controlling top for 90% of the time. He just absolutely is not giving that up, and that's because that is a big lane mismatch here that they're trying to abuse as best they can. If they stuck together a little bit stronger here as the 4-man, I very much feel like this would have already been a DK this early on, but you do see they've gotten a pretty big level lead just because of the advantage they have with their laning situation. If Royal wants to actually make a comeback here at any point, I definitely feel like they need to swap that Zagara. She's the only one who can actually stand a chance against that Thrall.
All right, Gravity Lips connecting on Meg. The power slide forward into Lunar Flare. That is a very dead Mythic. First kill of the game going to THC Black. But Dreadnought, before we continue any forward, what do you think of this Thrall build? We actually see he's picked up Block at level 1 as well as Envenom. That's a pretty uncommon Thrall talents. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen those two picked up on Thrall.
So the Envenom is really early game oriented. It's going to be essentially saying, I'm going to win this top lane even harder than I should naturally, but his teamfight phase, he will suffer a little bit. He's not only going to have less healing from his Q, but he's also going to be running out of mana a lot faster, which you see him doing. Right now, the block is a really good survivability tool. He's going to be going, usually this leads to, even though typically you can get lightning build and still go into this, it's a double E talents at 13 and 16. So he's going to have maximum survivability and large amount of single target burst, so he can kind of flank and get on the back line. It isn't common by any means, but it's definitely not a new strategy.
All right, well, we do see the creep tumors being cleaned up here in the bottom. Diablo died in the mid lane, level 7 to 6, almost a full level lead to THC Black already in the Flame Strike, and Living Bomb doing a lot of damage to Zagara. Medic completely out of position, and ETC trying to get them, but the grenade comes out, zoning very nicely, and Leoric doesn't seem to have any concern trying to chase this right side because they've got Kawaii Sashi getting lifted in the air, and he will end up going down.
Yeah, and Thrall dominating the top lane that entire time as well. Going to rotate down and look to get a DK. And honestly, this comes down to just smart play here from THC. Winning the 4-man, winning the top lane mismatch as they should be. And now they are dictating the pace of this match. Very much of this map does come down to smart rotations, which we've been harping on the entire time, in composition with wave player. And Buds is just doing the right play here. They aren't going to force anything too crazy. THC is going to be sieging up while it's drained here, soaking all the side lanes as best they can. In the race to 20, they are far, far ahead. No need to risk anything.
Yeah, all right, the Dragon getting its poke on. Now it's just trying to get these 2 towers safely, and when there's this huge resistance, it does rotate down to the bottom lane. The first Dragon this early in the game doesn't really have that much of duration, so it's a strong move to move down, just getting a nice little punt on Zagara. And these towers, as they fall, level 10 is dangerously close for THC.
Yeah, and they end up staying around here. They're kind of messing with it a little bit too much here. I feel like they might make a big mistake here. Royal Facade probably... No, they don't actually force the engage. I thought that was going to be an instant Sunder opportunity right there. But they don't actually level their ultimates fast enough yet. And they're going to walk away with the advantage. I'd really like to see THC at this point. Yeah, abusing their level 10. There they go. They rotate to mid. They're going to force on it. I think they should have forced on bottom, or at least paint the map blue and win the next Dragon Shire rotation. Leoric actually suiciding on top of the Diablo.
He missed his Drain Hope, and then he used March, and March ended up actually killing him, just not respecting the new damage, the 50% additional damage towers and forts do to heroes. He didn't respect that, and he paid the price dearly.
Yeah, that new change is actually probably the biggest change on that patch.
Yeah.
Even with all the heroes and everything else, it changes the way the game is going to be played. And right there, you see a 1v1 loss on the Leoric's side just because of it. THC not going to back out and get any of the Merc control here. They are going to just play the aggressive game with that ETC Tyrande on the bottom lane. Zagara going to have a bad time. Lunar Flare coming in. Gravity Lapse going to confirm the kill. Really well done there from THC. Just using their 4-man rotation, using their 10 advantage and trying to capitalize. Sieging up and taking advantage of the Zagara death. Merc control is something. I'd like to see them be a little bit more aggressive when they get these small advantages.
All right, well, Diablo also fell on the top, but he did have enough souls, only needing 60 for that respawn. Bud's an insider getting that kill, but Bud's is pretty much out of mana. Needs to be a little bit cautious, could back up to tap the well if he desires to do so. Everything else, everyone just kind of rotating around for control. The first mercenary camp of the game has been picked up, these giants here on the left-hand side, in favor of THC.
Yeah, and they're going to back out. Look to get the Knights here. This is smart play on their part. So now, because they took Giants on bottom and Knights are going to be captured on top, what they're doing is essentially pushing the 2 lanes that they need vision to dominate the shrines. So it provides vision and also pushes for against their opponents in both of the lanes that are most valuable at this time. So really good decision-making and timing of the Merc control from THC there.
Yeah, all right. Well, it looks like so far it doesn't look like Royal is looking to get all that many mercenary camps. They're just trying to maintain control. They do have their heroic abilities. They went for Apocalypse, Sim Drone, Mighty Gust, Maw, and then Avatar. And, you know, back in the day, actually, well, I say back in the day, but back in the last patch, we used to see that Stim Drone on Muradin a lot for those Avatar microstuns. I mean, it was crazy the power that Muradin would have with Stim Drone. But you think the only good target for it for this team is just going to be Falstad in this game?
I think it's definitely the best target. I don't know if I'd say it's the only good one. I mean, at times, Zagara can definitely lay it on their opponents too with battle momentum. Gus being, or Falstad flying top, trying to defend this top, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Ooh. Well, the Sundering goes out, and Diablo is going to end up falling here. Apocalypse hitting no one in the top lane. Falstad gets very low. The Gravity Lapse misses, but there is still sufficient damage to take him out. 2-0 in favor of THC, but the bottom lane looks pretty decent here. Murd, no, just kidding. I take it back. Medic goes down. The Mosh Pit is used. Lunar Flare connecting on Murden as well, and this should be a Dragonite here on the side of THC.
Yeah, they're going to be able to slowly kill Kawaii Sashi down here. Frustrated, actually, playing with death a little bit here. Murden might be able to give him a good old stun and a kill there, but he's delaying as long as he can for his team to get up to try and deny the DK. DK is most likely going to be picked up by Buds here. Decent decision-making considering the fact that Kael'thas now hitting 13 has his power spike. I'd really, really like them to go bottom with this DK instead of mid just because it is the most valuable lane. And they have such a big talent here advantage over their opponents. They need to kind of capitalize rather than kind of sitting around soaking the lanes that they have done for the first 14 levels of this game.
Yeah, Tyrande decided to go back to base to just replenish her mana. replenish her health and get ready for this. The middle fort gonna go down to the Dragonite, but they still have 45 seconds, so they don't need to be over eager. He's taking a lot of unnecessary damage right now, and they could play a little bit more passively.
Yeah, no, they need to do everything they can to soak the lanes. If you're Royal right now, all you need to be doing is maximizing your soak as best you possibly can and trying to get on the same talent tier as your opponent. Take the fight 13 into 15 because it's the only one you're going to get at this talent tier, or at the same talent tier as your opponent for a long time. Choosing to take this 3 versus 4 down here on bottom. Low health bar is going to be on the side of Royal Facade here. Hopefully they play a little bit more passive. And 16 just about to be picked up for THC.
Yeah, that's dangerous. 16 is a big talent tier for just about any hero. Lunar Flare on Medic. Is there enough damage? The Phoenix just poking through the wall, but not quite enough. This Dragonite is going to expire, but the damage has been done. But Diablo charging in with the Apocalypse. Sundering splitting them up. Diablo ends up falling. 2 members down. Falset is collapsed as well. The Maw, pretty late. Medic super low in the backline, trying to get the heals on Zakara, but she gets locked down. It's going to be 4 heroes down. No, Muradin popping Avatar. Does have the heals for Medic staying alive, but this keep is all but destroyed.
That was almost an absolutely flawless Sunder coming off from Buds there, realizing he can use that not only with the 16 tier advantage he has, but as a counter engage to the APOC. That was a very, very good APOC coming out from Royal, but then THC using the Sunder, the second the APOC's going to land, hitting a 4 to 5 man Sunder, I believe it was a 4-man, against his opponents to counter engage. So even though, yes, they do hit the APOC, they aren't able to capitalize on that at all, only hitting a Maw on non-priority targets. So really well done for Buds in that team fight, walking away with a keep from him and his team and a 3-level lead advantage, 4 even.
Yeah, definitely a convincing fight. All right, well, they were looking to potentially invade the Giant Camp. Not going to do that. We see Backdraft being picked up instead of Arcane Barrier. This is just confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And this chokehold is one of the scariest places for them to pick a fight here. Not only, there you go, good disengage there.
Nice.
Chokeholds are a situation that Royal needs to absolutely ignore. They need to fight in lanes. And the reason for that is their composition actually struggles tremendously into any kind of chokehold at all. You're like, well, they have Maw, they have Gus. Why would that be the case? They have APOC as well. That is true, but that is going to be nothing compared to the counter engage that is provided through Sunder, through Chain Bomb, and through ETC's Mosh Pit. So I'd really like to see Royal, if they do end up picking any fights, trying to avoid the chokeholds, kind of like that Giant Camp that they were hovering around before. But Giant Camps and Merc's going to be timed once again with the Dragonite. Really well done here from THC, and they're going to be end up trying to control this Dragonite, really dominate both the shrines and proceed to win this game.
Okay, you know, I don't know if we've seen more than that single Merc Camp picked up on the side of Royal, because I think that's all they've gotten. Diablo, it's lights out for him. The stun combos are just too much. Shadow Stalk used with Buds in the front line. The heals are keeping him up. The self-sustain going through as well. And he does have that Sundering ready in just 1 more second. Is it going to go out? He's getting so much damage out. Sundering does go out. They do get 4 members down, and Zagara will be a 5-for-0 in that fight.
Yeah, and a really quick reaction out of the rotations here. You see them instantly deciding to take the decision to go on bottom. One thing to keep in mind, that team fight was really won by the fact that Buds understood that his team had such a big advantage. Once the Maw came out, the one single pick onto the Diablo with his overextension, the minute they get that pick, he got aggressive positioning. He flanked their retreat, making sure that, yes, you did overextend with 1 hero, but I'm not going to let you walk away with one death. He goes in, he flanks them, he sunders from behind, ensures the kill on the rest of them. Again, that chokehold, Chain Bomb coming in a massive effect there. Gives them a DK with very quick response time to go on the bottom, and now they're going to be looking for core. This is a little bit risky. Keep in mind, Maw and Falstead's Mighty Gus are absolutely great counter core engages. So
counter core, but it's a 4-level advantage with a very powerful Dragonite chunking through those shields. The shields are gone on the core, and Insider is doing his best to burn it down. We see Kawhi having to dwarf toss to safety. Living Bomb going off. Falstead falls. It's going to be a dead Zagara as well. Desperate Apocalypse used to try to sustain through this, but I do not think Royal can stop this. THC Black will advance to the 2nd round.
Absolutely, and well-deserved, honestly. When it started at the draft, honestly, Jake, it really did. We saw exactly what they were trying to do with the draft. I don't know if I would say that it was a perfect draft, but definitely really well done. Understanding what it meant to play that level at a competitive, that map at a competitive level. drafting around it, winning the 4-man, winning the top lane as well. I feel like their rotations were definitely a little bit sloppy, but they ended up pulling it through. They started from the beginning. They came in with a plan. They executed pretty darn well, and they ended up walking away with a win. So really big shout out to THC. Especially, I feel like Buds was kind of the MVP, even though he does kind of have the flashy hero because Sunder is such a noticeable ultimate.
Yeah.
I really feel like he made a lot of small decisions that might have not been is easily noticed, I guess. If I hadn't the counter engage was almost perfectly timed. The flanking positioning was really well done on his part. So just huge shout out to him and the rest of THC Black. They're going to be moving on to the next round. I don't actually know if we have their opponent quite yet, Jake.
We might not. That was a pretty convincing game. I mean, it was quicker than I think we expected. Here's the look at the bracket so we can find THC. Where are they? Oh, yeah. Team higher consistency? Is that what it is?
Consciousness.
Yeah. Oh, they're so much smarter. And their opponents, Noob Phalem, are actually waiting for them. So it looks like we're going to be going into THC versus Noob Phalem as our second match. We're going to go to a quick commercial break to get that set up for you guys. And we will be back in just a few. Let me just solve this. Yes, production. Fade. We're going to see Dreadnought's pretty face. Be back soon.